I roamed a boy, and long ago the hour I know I first saw Illinois. But time nor tide nor waters wide could wean my heart away. Forever true it flies to you, my own.
It's July the 1st, 2006. We're cruising down the road next to the Moselle River, sun shining. We've been living in this country for 35 years, and I can only confirm that it's a great country to live in. The taxes are reasonable, the fuel is much cheaper than any other country, and we're enjoying ourselves. Luxembourg has got 400,000 people, and the big business is banking. But along on the Moselle, it's wine country. The Moselle had been modified about 30 years ago to take boats up and down the river. And that was performed by putting in gates to keep the level of the Moselle high. And it's a very profitable situation to carry a lot of commodities such as coal, sand, all type of goods, cars, transport, you name it, they transport it back and forwards. We came to Luxembourg in 1972, and I started working with Cargolux, and this was a time when Cargolux were in their infancy and had just a couple of CL44s carrying freight. Today they have 14 747-400s, probably one of the most profitable freight airlines in the world. Grevenmacher is a great little place. It has a wine cellar, a champagne cellar, tennis courts. It's a very unique village and very comfortable place to live in. I was requested by a friend of mine to make a documentary. If you have time, let me reminisce. Pat Neylon, born in Gort, County Galway, in December 1925, with a large family of 5 brothers and 5 sisters. We kept a range of livestock, such as pigs, cattle, horses, turkeys, geese. We sowed corn and beef, and a wide range of vegetables. Dad would do the farming on the outside, around the house, while Mother kept the household duties such as cooking, dressmaking, hairstyling, etc. She was also the house doctor, fixing up cuts and bruises. Leisure time. No electricity. Lights was produced by candle or eye lamp. After Mass on a Sunday, Dad would take us into the farm to train us on how to shoot pigeons, rabbits, ducks. On the long winter nights, we passed the time dancing to Mother's accordion. War broke out in September 1939. At the age of 14, I seen an aircraft flying over. I never forgot that. And Not long afterwards, I cycled up to Fines, where I seen an aircraft take off. I spent a few years in the drapery shop business in Gort. The plane flying over some years before sowed a seed in my mind that I never forgot. I enlisted in the Royal Air Force in a place called Long Kesh, which since became famous as an IRA jail. I applied to be a car mechanic, but I was offered and accepted to be a parachute jumping instructor. After being passed medically fit, I was kitted out and sent to Upper Hayford Parachute Training Centre. After 6 weeks, I was transferred to become an aircraft mechanic. Then I was sent to number 1 Transport Command in Lynham, the year being 1947. I worked in the repair and inspection department, maintaining Hastings and Avro Yorks. A vacancy became on the Progress Manning department. I applied and was accepted. This was the best move I ever made. In 1951, after being demobbed, I joined Freddie Laker. I was in a pub on the White Horse, Swindon, drinking a black and tan. Most unusual for an Irishman to be in a pub. I met a Dublin man called McGrath, who informed me he had sacked a man that day and needed a replacement to break up Avro Yorks, which had crashed nearby. 3 days later, we had a plane cut up and delivered to Stansted. Ray Hayes, the hangar foreman for Freddie Laker, gave me a job right away for 2 shillings and 11 pence an hour. 3 months later, we had assembled a flying aircraft from 9 carcasses. I volunteered to service Freddie's aircraft in Berlin Airlift and remained with Freddie for 7 years.
By the 28th of June, the only way into Berlin was by air, and the first RAF aircraft started this colossal undertaking. According to many predictions, an impossible one to maintain for any length of time, especially during winter. The land-based planes. These indefatigable blockade runners carried on throughout the night and into the dawn. Night and day, week after week, it was a case of more planes, more food, more raw materials, shipped without pause from 8 different airfields in the Western Zone. The RAF Dakota, 3 tons. The Civil Tudor, 8 tons. And what the Berliners call the Grosser Tudor, 10 tons. As an additional boost to the airlift, the RAF introduced its Hastings, each carrying over 9 tons. At the 3 airports in Berlin, Gatow, Tempelhof and Tegel, aircraft were landing or taking off every 90 seconds. Many notabilities visited Berlin's sea leagues. All of them played their part with the United States Air Force in maintaining this non-stop operation. A combined operation which on one day landed in Berlin a record load of nearly 13,000 tons. That is equivalent to the normal tonnage moved daily by surface transport before the blockade. Newsprint for Berlin's democratic press comes in. Mail for the outside world goes out. Yes, the life of Berlin has been maintained, but not without the loss of 43 airmen who gave their lives in this vital operation.
During that time I got married and lived in various places. Based in Hamburg in 1958, worked as a flight engineer with Independent Air Travel, Continental Airlines, flying worldwide. Flying can be a very tough job. We would fly from Hamburg to Tokyo with 4 of crew, 2 captains and co-pilot and myself. Return in 7 days, 120 flight hours. No flight hour limits on those days. This continued until 1962. Under the flag of the United Nations, we flew internally in the Congo. We had 2 aircraft there moving anything that needed to be moved. In 1962, working with Continentala as hangar foreman, the owner informed that there was no money to pay wages. He requested me to arrange and fix the aircraft for flight as Skymaster to Luxembourg, with the intentions to sell. I tried to sell the aircraft to Roel Buchler, owner of Südflug. Roel did not buy the aircraft, but offered me a job as Chief of Maintenance in Stuttgart, which I accepted. We had 16 aircraft flying to America and holidaymakers to all destinations down south. During this period of my life, Rosita and myself, we had 3 children, Michael, Sheila, Kevin. We left Stuttgart in 1968 when Lufthansa bought out Südflug and closed the company down. Lufthansa gave 5 aircraft to the German Protestant Church. I became the general manager in South Tome, flying church aid into Biafra.
It called itself Joint Church Aid. The pilots called it Jesus Christ Airlines. The planes came from Scandinavia, Canada, and the United States. In a few months, it grew from 5 flights a week to more than 30 flights every night. The oldest Christian symbol, the fishes, was painted on them.
Well, the extraordinary thing about churches working under one umbrella, which had never been achieved before, and I'm not certain has ever really been achieved since.
One million lives was lost in Biafra. We lost 2 aircraft and 4 crew. When I returned to Stuttgart, I was offered a position as technical director with Pan International by Dr. Trummer. I set up a maintenance base, 6 Back 111s, 2 707s. The company main business was flying holiday destinations. Due to an aircraft crash, the company folded in 1972. In December of that year, I joined Cargo Lux as purchasing manager and material control. I was successful in getting Transmeridian, Tradewinds and Cargo Lux to join our cost-cutting exercise. We procured 3 DC-8s as well as engines and spares. In 1979 we bought our first 747, which included engines and a large stock of spare parts, and continued in this position until 1982. At this time I was requested to take over maintenance, sales and contracts. We successfully performed third-party maintenance on 707s, DC-8s Hercules 130. This included the overhaul of engines and components. Cargolux to this date is a very successful company.
Patrick, I think, is what they call an old fox. Nobody can teach anything. But I remember from the beginning, I think, when we had the CL-44s, you were responsible for the material outside. CL-44 was an aircraft which was probably a very good aircraft for economically wise, transporting freight long distance, but when it came down to the maintenance side, definitely had its shortcomings.
I also remember very well when I started, I was much younger than today, and you were my first boss at the time. And after I was in school in Germany for 5 years, first thing you did was you taught me some decent English, though with an Irish accent. But thanks to you, I got into that quite quickly. Also, you bought the CL-44 surplus spares from Canadair at the time, which we got at a good price. We were master negotiating pricing, so we profited from that for many years.
I don't know how many years you plan to do, but I wish you success in the next coming years like you had in the past.
And I'm very pleased to be looking back and find that the guys that I was trying to get into my system are now, they've overtaken me and now they look down on me. But that's all right. You have to be nice to people on the ways up because you might meet them on the ways down. Yes. Not wanting to retire, the family and myself decided to start a small aircraft company supplying aircraft components. This we called Aviation Advisory Agency. This is run as a family-owned business. In the beginning, our intention was to operate as an advisory capacity, but it quickly became apparent that we had to purchase and supply a wide range of spare parts. Our first venture was to buy 3 DC-8s in Manila. We transport them in containers to Ostend, where we set up stores. This proved to be a very profitable. We engaged Cargolux to overhaul and certify them. We were one of their main customers at one time. We specialised in the DC-8. We support approximately 15 DC-8s from airlines half around the world. We have many VIP aircraft that we support. 1995, we purchased a 707 from the Dutch government, which had been impounded in Amsterdam. This was the first auction ever in Holland of such a large aircraft. We sold the aircraft 48 hours later at a handsome profit. These are some of the ventures that we operate to this day. Claude has been with us for 10 years. We have everything in cartridges, and we have it for all aircraft that we are responsible for. Rosita takes care of invoicing and all the accounts.
Hi.
Nicole is our secretary and has a big job here to keep us all under control. Kevin runs the stores and is also a 50% owner of the company. I'm relying on him to make sure that we stay on business. You're welcome to AAA. This is our team, working 7 days a week.
Well, I'm Kevin. I'm the manager of the company, and I'm here to give you the help for 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
Hello, my name is Carl Rickard. I'm the Quality Control Inspector for Aviation Advisory Agency. This particular room here is where we clean any of the parts that we receive. We have our cleaning unit here, our sandblasting machine here. We also have some tooling for when we make stands, special crates for the likes of gyros and special equipment that's very delicate. And this is basically our tool room in which we do all of this.
There we have some wheels for different kind of aircraft. They're main wheels. And the rest of the material in here is engine parts from the inside and some casings from the outside.
In those boxes are mostly landing gear, some in overhauled condition, ready to go for all types of DC-8s with the proper documentation.
Here we have some dangerous goods parts, which are for extinguishers, oxygen bottles, life rafts, escape slides. And they are protected in those cages and in those boxes.
For safety reasons.
For safety reasons due to the law of the JAA and the Luxembourg government.
Aviation Advisory Agency also offer the facility of engine borescope, either on wing or in shop, with the latest technology in Everest VIT borescopes. This, we can measure damage, we can control everything in a non-destructive fashion. Now we are looking internally into the combustion chamber. Because it is fully articulating, I can go into any position I require to look for damage or corrosion, cracks, heat stress, or anything that could possibly be wrong.
At the ripe age of 80, I see no end. Maybe the man above has other intentions. Thank you for listening to me. You're walking ahead of me.
That's the way it should be.
This is our Garden of Eden. This is Eve, but I'm not the other guy.
You're Patrick.
There's no apple on the tree. There's no pear on the ground either. We hope you enjoy the scenery, and we thank you for coming this way. Have a nice day.